On Friday, we're going to have the moon in Scorpio, making that exact square to the sun in Leo. And on that same day, Venus in Cancer is making that exact square to Saturn and Neptune retrograde in Aries. Taking into consideration this recognition that both the moon and Venus are signifiers of relationship in our lives. And these planets, both the moon and Venus, are in very difficult positions on Friday. So I was feeling like Friday might feel like this exhaustion of the heart. And we can think of that almost like a heart dehydration. It's kind of like the caregiver, the person who's giving the hugs usually is the person who needs a hug, and there's nobody available to give them a hug. So they're extremely dehydrated. They are in need of receiving and they've been overgiving. And so there's kind of this sobering reality check of where we might be overgiving and where we might need to reset or rebalance and adjust our boundaries, really acknowledging that in order to be the caregiver that we want, we have to also maybe acknowledge where we aren't giving that first to ourselves. And maybe not even first, maybe not even at all. Are you somebody who is so apt to respond when somebody calls and needs something, to attend to that, to give the hug? But maybe you shy away from acknowledging that you need a hug sometimes or you need a break. Friday is kind of this reality check to say, yeah, I've needed a break for a while. I've needed a hug for a while. And the reality is that I'm actually the one that needs to give myself that hug. I'm actually the one that needs to call my energy back, that needs to get real with myself around what are my needs? What is my self care strategy? So, one of the key factors of consideration is looking back to what was happening around March 22nd, 2025. This is a wake up call back to the clarity that was coming during that time. It was on March 22nd that Venus retrograde had her inferior conjunction to the sun, the retrograde Cazimi. And that's always the point where Venus is actually starting a new cycle. It's the point where we get a call of clarity around what the retrograde is about, like the things in the relationships that aren't working or need to change, or maybe the deeper healing and patterns that we're being asked to look at. So just pause for a moment and ask yourself, if I think back to that moment, what were some of the things that I was really getting clear on that were ready to change and evolve around my standards of relationship